The story starts with a girl named Yu, who's doing a radio broadcast. Ever since she was a kid, her dream has been to become the most famous RJ in the city. Normally, the broadcasts are done by a girl named Nishi, but today she showed up late, so Yu got the chance to start the show. But the listeners only wanted one thing: Nishi's voice. Just then, Nishi arrived and took over the situation. The scene then shifts to a music writer named Nian. Everyone knows him by his pen name, Ejen, but no one has ever seen his face. Why? Because Ejen always chooses to stay hidden. He wants a quiet life, away from the cameras. Even though he's a famous songwriter, he carries one deep pain he cannot see. The girl driving Nian's car is Jia, his assistant, and also a distant relative. Meanwhile, as Yu leaves the radio station, a boy named Hao comes to meet her. But Yu doesn't want to talk to him. She secretly liked him for a long time. But the day before, she saw him being very close with her friend Qian. That sight broke Yu's heart. Feeling upset, Yu sits on a bench in the park and listens to one of Ejen's songs, softly singing along. Ejen is her favorite songwriter. Whenever she's sad, his songs comfort her. What she doesn't know is that Nian is sitting nearby. Hearing Yu's off-key singing, he wonders, who's singing so out of tune? Yu notices the boy sitting close by, realizes he heard her, and gets embarrassed. She quickly runs away. Later in class, Yu tells her friend Yuzi about it. She says, "That guy was so handsome. I liked him the moment I saw him. You could say it was love at first sight." Hearing this, Yuzi teases her non-stop. After class, Yu runs into Qian again. Qian tries to talk about last night, but Yu cuts her off. "You were my best friend. You knew how much I liked Hao. And still, you got into a relationship with him. Since you two really like each other, I won't stand in your way anymore." Saying that, Yu walks away. That night, Yu drinks and starts venting about how he betrayed her and chose someone else. Yuzi then asks, "But wait, did Hao ever actually tell you he liked you?" Yu replies, "He didn't need to. We grew up together. I know he liked me. But ever since Qian came, everything has turned upside down." Yuzi tells her, "Then maybe you should just talk to Hao and Qian directly." While scrolling the internet, Yu suddenly sees breaking news. A girl is claiming to be Ejen. Yu is shocked. She always thought Ejen was a man. She refuses to believe it. On the other side, Ejen's secretary shows him the news and says, "You should reveal the truth now. Otherwise, you'll keep writing the songs, and someone else will take the credit." But for Ejen, it doesn't matter. He clearly says, "I will never appear in front of the camera." The next day at the radio station, the boss tells Nishi, "Get an interview with Ejen as soon as possible. Otherwise, someone else will come again tomorrow and claim to be him." Nishi assures him she's already making arrangements. From this, we learn that Nishi and her boss know who the real Ejen is. In fact, Nishi is friends with Jia, Ejen's assistant. That's how she knows his true identity. A few days later, at Jia's request, Ejen finally agrees to give an interview at the radio station. When he arrives, he runs into Yu inside the elevator. Yu suddenly remembers this is the same guy from the park, the one she liked at first sight. But then she notices something else he cannot see. Yu tries to help him, but Ejen calmly says he doesn't need anyone's help. Yu is shocked because even without eyesight, he easily presses the right elevator buttons. In her mind, Yu starts to wonder, is he really blind or just pretending? Feeling nervous, she quickly gets out of the elevator. Later, when Yu shows up late to class, her teacher asks, "Do you really want to become an RJ?" Yu replies confidently, "Of course. It's been my dream since childhood." The teacher smiles and says, "Good, but first you need to finish your graduation." After class, Yu turns on the radio and hears Nishi saying, "Thank you so much for joining our show today, Ejen." Yu freezes. She can only hear a few of Ejen's words through the broadcast. She regrets it deeply. If only she had been at the station today, she could have met him in person. She just missed a huge opportunity. The next scene shows Ejen working as a school teacher. Here, everyone knows him only by his real name, Nian. A few days later, Yu joins the same school as an intern teacher. When she introduces herself, Nian realizes this is the same girl from the elevator. Yu asks him, "Excuse me, where's the head office?" Nian tells her to come along with him. While they're walking down the stairs, a group of kids rushes past. To stop them from bumping into Nian, Yu quickly moves in front of him. That moment brings her very close to him. Yu looks at him and thinks to herself, "He's really so handsome." Inside the office, another teacher introduces Yu to everyone. The next day, while walking through the school, Yu hears someone playing the piano. The melody sounds so beautiful that she follows the tune straight to the music room. Inside, she sees Nian playing. Yu is mesmerized. She quietly listens until she makes a small noise by accident. Nian stops and asks, "Who's standing outside?" Yu walks in and says, "You play the piano so beautifully." But Nian replies coldly, "I'm done playing. You can leave now." Outside, Yu complains to herself, "Wow, I praised him so much. and he just kicked me out. He's so moody and rude, and here I am, crushing on him for no reason. That evening, Yu hangs out with her friends, but when she spots Hao there, her mood instantly drops. She whispers to Yuzi, "Why didn't you tell me Hao was coming? If I knew, I wouldn't have come." Yuzi explains, "I tried to call you but your phone was off." 9. I do. When Hao tries to talk to Yu, she ignores him and walks away. The next day, the school's principal tells Nian, "If you want, you can work here as a permanent teacher." But Nian refuses the offer. He only came to this school for a short while, not for a long-term job. Later, when Nian goes back to his office, Yu approaches him. She says she wants to teach the kids a song and asks, "Can you help me by playing the piano?" Nian doesn't reply, he just walks away. Yu feels annoyed and thinks, "Wow, this guy is seriously rude. He didn't even bother to answer me." But the next time Yu comes to class, she sees Nian already sitting at the piano. Yu gets excited and starts singing in her usual off-key voice, while Nian surprisingly plays along with her. When they finish, Yu thanks him. "Thank you for helping me with the piano." But Nian coldly replies, "I only played for the kids, not for your out-of-tune singing." Then, he walks away, leaving Yu staring at him in silence. Meanwhile, we see Qian meeting Hao. Hao is a member of a music brand, and Qian is also part of the same group, but now, she's planning to leave the brand. She doesn't want to get between Hao and Yu anymore. Hao apologizes to her for kissing her that night, but Qian says, "We were both drunk, it was a mistake. I'll just forget it like a bad dream." Back at the school, Yu brings rice balls her dad made and shares them with everyone. She even offers a box to Nian, but he ignores her and walks away. That day, the school organizes a medical checkup for all the kids. While lining them up, Yu notices one girl, Shiao, is missing. She goes looking and finds Shiao alone in the classroom, crying. Shiao can't see. She was trying to find the way outside but couldn't, so she broke down in tears. Just then, Nian passes by and hears her crying. He comes in and gently asks, "Why are you crying?" Shiao says she couldn't find her friends. Nian comforts her and calms her down. He has a special soft spot for these kids, because he himself grew up in an orphanage. All the children in this school are orphans too, so Nian treats them with extra love. While this happens, Yu arrives, still searching for Shiao. She feels guilty for leaving Shiao behind and apologizes to Nian. Yu promises this won't happen again. Nian believes her and places Xiao's hand into hers. After school ends, Nian finally takes the rice ball box Yu gave him. Jia, his secretary, comes to pick him up. She notices the box in his hand and says, "Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen you accept a gift from someone." At the same time, Yu notices Nian leaving with her gift. But what catches her eye even more is the woman who came to pick him up. She's beautiful, and the car she's driving looks extremely expensive. Yu wonders, how can an ordinary school teacher go home in such a fancy car? Curious, she asks another teacher about Nian. The teacher replies, "Honestly, none of us know much about him. He rarely talks to anyone, but he's close with the head teacher, which is probably why he got this job here." That night, Jia tries the rice balls. She smiles and says, "I've never eaten rice balls this tasty before. They're amazing." Nian replies, "Yu's father made them." Jia adds, "He must have made them with a lot of love. That's why they taste so special." The next day, it's raining outside. Yu secretly leaves her umbrella by Nian's desk before heading out. A little while later, Nian comes in, touches the umbrella, and gives a small smile. Meanwhile, Yu listens to Ejen's newest song release. And remember, Ejen is actually Nian's pen name. As Yu listens, she suddenly feels the background music sounds familiar. She remembers hearing the exact same tune a few days ago. Nian was playing it on the piano, but the song just released today. She also recalls the day Ejen came to the radio station. It was the same day she met Nian in the elevator. All the pieces start connecting in her mind. Yu begins to suspect, could Nian actually be Ejen? But she's not completely sure yet. After school, Jia hasn't arrived to pick up Nian, so he waits on a bench. Yu sees him sitting alone and takes the chance to sit beside him, wondering again if he really is Ejen. She starts talking to him, but Nian only replies with short answers, just yes or no. Finally, Yu gathers courage and asks, "Are you Ejen?" Nian snaps back, "What kind of stupid question is that? Why would I be Ejen?" Yu insists, "Because your music feels just like his, and the tune you played on the piano, it's exactly the same as the background music in Ejen's new song." Nian brushes it off. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Stop overthinking. Just then, Qian walks by and sees them together. She asks Yu who the boy is. On the spot, Yu blurts out, "This is my boyfriend." She whispers to Nian to play along. But Nian pulls his hand away and says coldly, "Why would I ever be your boyfriend?" Then he stands up and leaves. Embarrassed, Yu quickly tells Qian, "We had a fight, that's why he's acting like this." Yu secretly follows Nian to a restaurant. He notices her and asks, "Why did you tell me to lie? I'm not your boyfriend." Yu finally opens up. She explains everything about Hao and Qian. how she felt betrayed, and how much it hurt her. She even starts crying while talking. Seeing her tears, Neon quietly takes out his handkerchief and hands it to her. At that moment, Jia calls she's waiting outside to pick him up. That night, Neon thinks about Yu and smiles to himself. On the other side, Yu looks at the handkerchief he gave her and also thinks about him. The next day at school, Yu finds a file that shows Xiao's birthday is coming soon. Excited, she tells Nian, "Hey, we should celebrate Xiao's birthday together." But Nian replies, "I'm busy, I won't be able to." Later, Yu is seen carrying a bunch of gifts she bought for Xiao. When she tries to give them to her, Nian stops her. Yu asks, "Why are you stopping me? Xiao doesn't have parents. That's why I bought her gifts." But Nian explains firmly, "Kids like Xiao don't need pity or material gifts. What they really need is love." Nian knows this better than anyone because he grew up in an orphanage himself. After saying this, he walks away, leaving Yu feeling guilty. She realizes her good intentions might have hurt him. That night, Nian has a dream about his childhood. In it, he remembers the day his mother left him at an orphanage. But while crossing the road, she was hit by a car in an accident. Her biggest dream was that Nian would grow up to become a pianist. From that moment on, Nian began to play piano, carrying her wish in his heart. The next day after class, Yu goes to Nian's office to look for him, but he isn't there. So Yu draws a little face on an orange and leaves it on his desk. A little later, Nian comes in. Yu asks him to eat the orange. Just then, another teacher walks by and says, "Hey, the face on this orange looks exactly like you, Nian. Always so serious." Nian realizes right away that Yu did this, and for the first time he actually smiles. That night, Nian asks Jia, "Where's the orange I left on my desk?" Jia casually replies, "Oh, I ate it." Nian frowns. "Why would you eat it without asking me? There were plenty more in the fridge." He then asks, "Where's the peel?" Jia says she threw it in the trash and asks if something's wrong. Nian just says, "Forget it." Meanwhile, Yu somehow manages to get Nian's phone number. She calls him and asks straight out, "Are you Ejen?" Nian stays silent for a few seconds. That's enough for Yu. She feels sure now that he is Ejen. Finally, Nian says, "If you called just to ask stupid questions like this, then hang up." Deep down, Nian knows Yu has figured out the truth. Jia gets worried and asks, "What if Yu tells everyone you're Ejen?" But Nian calmly replies, "She won't. I know she won't say anything." The next scene shows Xiao's birthday. Yu brings a beautiful cake and she and Nian celebrate together with Xiao. Normally, Nian doesn't like sweet things, but when Yu offers him cake, he doesn't refuse. After the party, Yu and Nian step outside. Yu says, "Let's play a game. I'll ask you one question, then you can ask me one too." Yu asks first, "The girl who always comes to pick you up, is she your girlfriend?" Nian simply says, "No." Yu feels so happy hearing this. She smiles and says, "Okay, now it's your turn to ask me." But Nian replies, "I'll ask you another day." The next day at school, Yu tells Nian that a couple wants to adopt Xiao. She's excited, thinking Xiao will finally have a family. But Nian doesn't look happy at all. He says, "There's nothing to celebrate. What if that family changes their mind later and abandons her? Do you know how painful that would be?" Nian speaks from experience. As a child, the same thing happened to him. After school, Yu notices Nian waiting outside in the rain for Jia. Feeling bad, she holds her umbrella over his head and says, "Let's buy you a new umbrella." She takes him to a nearby shop. Yu gets wet in the rain, so Nian buys her a towel. Just then, Jia arrives and sees them together. She's shocked. Nian usually avoids people, but here he is, spending time with Yu. That means he feels comfortable with her. Realizing this, Jia feels genuinely happy. After shopping, Nian leaves with Jia, but Yu walks home smiling. She's overjoyed because she finally got to spend some time with him. And in her heart, she's certain now Nian is Ejen. The next day, a small farewell event is held because Xiao is getting adopted. Xiao is supposed to sing at the ceremony, but instead of encouraging her, a few people in the audience whisper cruel things. "She's blind. How can she sing?" Hearing this, Xiao loses her confidence and can't continue. The moment hurts Nian deeply, so he quietly leaves the hall. Yu follows him and says, "Sorry. I thought Xiao's farewell would be a happy moment, but it turned out so sad instead." Nian replies, "There are always people who remind a child of what they've lost, telling her she's an orphan, telling her she can't see. They never realize how much those words hurt. People like us, we don't need pity. We just want to live with the same rights as everyone else." Yu listens, her heart sinking. For the first time, she truly feels Nian's pain. To cheer up Xiao, Yu and Nian take her to a park. They ride different attractions, trying to make her laugh. On the giant Ferris wheel, Yu sits closer to Nian, but Nian asks her to sit farther away. Yu realizes he noticed her moving closer, and she feels embarrassed. The next day at school, Nian learns the teacher he was temporarily replacing has returned. That means Nian has to leave the school. The thought of not seeing Yu every day makes him sad, because by now, he has started to like her. Before leaving, he tells Yu, "I still owe you one question. Can I ask it now?" Yu nods. Nian asks softly, "Do you like me?" Yu blushes and admits, "Yes, I do." Nian then asks, "But why? What do you see in me that you like?" Yu struggles to answer. She can't explain it. Disappointed, Nian grows upset and walks away. Yu tells herself she'll make it up to him later. But the very next day turns out to be Nian's last at the school. The previous teacher takes over again. At the same time, Yu is caught up with a heavy workload at the radio station and misses school that day. When she rushes there afterward, Nian is already gone. She tries calling Ejen again and again, but Nian doesn't pick up. Still, every night, Nian secretly listens to Yu's show on the radio. Meanwhile, Yu is under more and more stress work pressure, plus the pain of Nian ignoring her calls. Slowly, her health starts to break down. Since she can't reach him directly, Yu decides to reach out through her broadcast. She writes a heartfelt letter, speaking about all of Nian's good qualities. She shares it live on air. Hearing her words, Nian gets emotional. He realizes he was wrong. He finally calls Yu. When he learns she's very sick, he rushes to her home without wasting a second. He carries her in his arms through the streets, guiding himself by her voice as she tells him where to go. He takes her to the hospital. A few days later, after Yu recovers a little, Nian brings her to his own house to take better care of her. He even gives Jia a few days off, wanting to look after Yu himself. He apologizes for not answering her calls. Yu admits, "I missed you so much." She confesses her feelings once more. This time, Nian doesn't reply, but his heart races. Later that night, when he sees Yu asleep on the floor, he gently picks her up and lays her on the bed. The next day, Nian cooks a meal for Yu with his own hands. The food doesn't taste all that great, but Yu doesn't care. She's just happy that Nian tried so hard for her. A few days later, Jia returns from her leave and visits Nian's house. She's surprised to see Yu still living there, but then Nian introduces Yu as his girlfriend. Jia feels overjoyed to see them together. Soon after, Yu packs up her things and officially moves into Nian's home. Nian also openly tells her, "I really like you." One day, the two of them go out to watch a movie. Nian actually books the entire theater just for Yu. Since he can't see, Yu describes the movie scene by scene, making him smile. After the film, they head back, but while boarding the train, the crowd separates them. Yu manages to get inside, but the doors close before Nian can enter. The train leaves with Yu inside, and Nian still on the platform. At the next station, Yu quickly jumps off and runs all the way back. When she arrives, she finds Nian still standing at the exact same spot, waiting for her. Yu runs up and hugs him tightly. Nian says, "If we're ever separated, I'll always wait for you, right at the place where we last parted." Hearing this, Yu's eyes fill with tears. She cries, deeply touched by his words. Time passes happily as they continue living together. One day, Yu asks Nian to share his childhood story. Nian says softly, "I spent 6 years in an orphanage," but then he falls silent, unable to say more. Changing the topic, Yu asks, "What about your eyes? Isn't there a treatment? Can't surgery bring your sight back?" Nian replies, "There's a chance, but a very small one. Even after surgery, it may not work." Yu then gently places his hand on her face, letting him feel what she looks like. A few days later, Yu's internship comes to an end. As a memory, she asks Nian to take a few photos of her. Later, while talking on the phone, Yu tells her mother, "I have a boyfriend." Her mother starts asking questions. When she learns that Yu's boyfriend grew up in an orphanage and is also blind, she becomes upset. She firmly tells Yu, "I cannot accept this relationship. The next day, Yu's mother even comes to take her back home. Yu tries hard to explain, "Nian is a really good man. Please understand." But her mother refuses to listen. Finally, she tells Yu, "This is your decision. If one day you're not happy with him, don't blame us. It will be your choice." Saying this, her mother leaves. When Yu returns to Nian's house, Jia tells her, "Yesterday was Nian's birthday, but he never celebrates it." That night, Yu takes Nian out to a restaurant. She notices the watch on his wrist is broken, so she gifts him a brand new one. Later at his home, Yu finds a photo album. She asks Nian about the people in the pictures, but he has no idea. When she describes them, Nian realizes the photo shows his father, his stepmother, and Jia. The photo was taken years ago. At that moment, Jia walks in. Nian gets angry and asks, "Who gave you permission to put this picture here?" You see, when Nian was young, His father abandoned his mother and married another woman, Jia's older sister. That's why Nyan despises his father. Even though Nyan inherited all of his father's property, he never went back, no matter how many times his father begged for forgiveness. Now, his father is sick, and Nyan's stepmother has been sending Jia to convince him to return. But every time she tries to bring up family matters, Nyan shuts her down. He refuses to hear a single word about his father. Meanwhile, Yu's mother tells her husband everything about Nyan. Shocked, Yu's father suddenly feels chest pain and is rushed to the hospital. Around the same time, Yu learns more details about Nyan's family and asks him, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" Nyan simply says, "Because I didn't want to." They argue over it, and Yu leaves his house to stay at the hostel. Soon it's Yu's graduation day. Nyan attends with her. Yuzi insists on taking a photo of the couple and keeps telling Nyan, "Smile," but Nyan stands stiff and serious. Yu tries to make him laugh with silly tricks, and finally, when he smiles, Yuzi captures the perfect picture of them together. The next day, Yu meets a neighbor who tells her, "Your father is very sick." Without wasting time, Yu returns to Nyan's house to pack her things. But earlier that day, Nyan's stepmother had already visited. She begged Nyan to meet his father, who was also in poor health. Nyan was already upset. When he sees Yu packing, he assumes the worst, that she's leaving him for good. He remembers Yu's mother's harsh words and thinks Yu is obeying her. Without listening to Yu's explanation, Nyan says coldly, "If you walk out today, then never come back." Heartbroken, Yu ignores his words and rushes to the hospital to see her father. Seeing him so unwell leaves her devastated. Jia tries to convince Nyan to talk to Yu, but he refuses. He doesn't want Yu to fight with her mother because of him. Feeling sad, Nyan pours all his emotions into playing the piano. Meanwhile, Yu tells her father, "In just a few days, I'll become a professional radio broadcaster." Her father smiles and says, "Then I'll be the very first to hear your voice on air." But the next day, tragedy strikes. Yu's father passes away. At that time, Yu wasn't even at the hospital. After a fight with Nyan, she had gotten drunk and was lying on a rooftop. Her mother tried desperately to reach her but couldn't. When Yu wakes up in the morning, she gets the heartbreaking news. She runs to see her father, only to break down in tears. Nyan arrives too, searching for her. He apologizes, but Yu feels that because of him, she missed her father's final moments. Through tears, she tells him it's over. Yu breaks up with Nyan. The loss of her father shatters her, but she forces herself to stay strong for her mother's sake. A few days later, Yu finally begins her first radio broadcast. She dedicates it to her late father. The show gets a huge response from the listeners. Among them, Nyan listens quietly, and in that moment, he makes a decision he'll go through with the eye surgery. The operation begins within days. Against all odds, it's successful. For the first time, Nyan can see. He looks around his home with wonder, and later, he visits all the places where he once went with Yu. 3 years have passed. Nyan forgives his father and starts managing the family business. At the same time, he released a new song called Crush. The song is dedicated to Yu. Yu listens to it every day. She knows it's meant for her. Elsewhere, Hao and Qian get married. One by one, almost all of Yu's friends settle down. Yu's mother wants the same for her daughter. She arranges blind dates one after another, but Yu rejects them all because deep down, she still loves Nyan. One day, on another blind date, Yu is shocked she sees Nyan there, and this time, she learns the truth. Ejen can see now. Nyan had never seen Yu before, but the very first moment he lays eyes on her, he recognizes her instantly. Seeing her brings back all the memories of their time together. That night, Yu rushes home and tells her friend Yuzi about the encounter. Yuzi advises her, "Why don't you just talk to him once? Maybe he hasn't forgotten you. Maybe, even after all these years, he's still waiting for you. Maybe he's been thinking about you all this time." The next day, Yu goes to Nyan's office to see him, but he's busy in a long meeting. While waiting, Yu accidentally falls asleep. When the meeting ends, Nyan sees her sleeping. He gently carries her to the restroom so she can rest. Later, while going to wash his hands, he forgets his watch in the washroom. This wasn't just any watch, it was the one Yu had gifted him years ago. Nyan always wore it close to his heart. When Yu wakes up and goes to freshen up, she notices the watch. Without thinking much, she takes it with her, believing it's fine since she gave it to him in the first place. That night, at home, Nyan realizes the watch is missing. He searches everywhere and becomes worried. Just from his reaction, it's clear he still loves Yu deeply, because he treasured the watch she gave him. He calls Yu and says, "My secretary told me you came by today. What did you want to see me for?" After so many years, Yu finally hears his voice again, but she doesn't know what to say. At last, she blurts out, "I came to ask when your wedding is." Nyan teases, "Why are you in such a hurry to know about my wedding?" Yu softly admits, "Because I don't want you to marry anyone else. Hearing this, Nian realizes Yu still loves him. He invites her to dinner the next day, and she agrees. The next evening, they go out to dinner. But after years apart, both feel awkward, unable to speak freely. Yu finally says, "Maybe we should try this another day," and leaves. A few days later, Nian sees Yu at the same restaurant, but this time, she's with another man. Jealousy burns inside him. He pulls Yu aside, hugs her tightly from behind, and whispers, "I'm sorry for everything. I still love you. Please, give me a chance to prove it." But Yu doesn't answer him just yet. Sometime later, they meet again at a party. In front of everyone, Nian boldly introduces Yu as his girlfriend. The entire room is shocked. Even then, Yu doesn't want to be tied to him again, but Nian refuses to give up. He keeps trying to win her heart back. One day, Yu meets Jia, who tells her the truth. For the past 3 years, Nian has thought only of you. He truly loves you. Even when you were apart, he was always looking out for you. Your radio job and your father's office being managed properly, that was all because of Nian. He even took over his father's company just to prove himself worthy in front of your mother. Hearing this, Yu finally understands. She forgives him. All the misunderstandings between Yu and Nian come to an end. They reunite, holding each other tightly. Even Yu's mother accepts Nian into the family. One day, Nian proposes to Yu. She happily says yes. Their wedding is grand and filled with joy. Years later, they're shown with a sweet little daughter, enjoying a family outing together.
With this beautiful moment, today's drama comes to an end. Don't forget to let me know how you liked the drama, and if you enjoy my stories, make sure to like and comment to stay with me. Now I'm leaving, but I'll see you soon with a new drama story. Until then, take care of yourselves.